I say straight up, thank you very much, Jeff, for organising and being trip leader. We all really appreciate it. We're just going to get your thoughts on a few things at the end of the trip here. So just wanted to kick off. Obviously we've gone on convoy through France with the black van as we can see behind us, and the white van with the kayaks. What's your thoughts on how the navigation across France went?
Absolutely disgraceful. You know, for time and time again we've been threatened with unnecessary detours due to the navigation crew, especially in the van, being fast asleep. Yeah. And of no assistance to the driver whatsoever.
Really? Good.
Oh yeah. It's extremely traumatic.
We've taken on a big responsibility here with the white van, carrying the kayaks and a lot of the kit across France. Now you had two helpers with you there, Ian and Bob. Now they were observed yesterday fast asleep whilst you were driving on the motorway there. Do you have any thoughts on that?
To be honest, I didn't see them sleeping.
Too busy concentrating on the job.
Too busy concentrating on the job.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about them letting you down like that?
I don't think they let me down.
No?
It's just the way they are, isn't it? You know, we can't criticise them. If that's the way they are, that's the way they are.
There was some expenses, additional costs involved as well, wasn't there, with some of these detours?
A slight detour, maybe slight is an understatement, through Italy to get the south of France. You know, with excessive costs that has blown the transport budget out of the water.
Nominated as CIF, chap in front. I'm never driven in France before. Given a few sort of pointers of where I should go. Got to Briançon via the fastest route, but via a very expensive tunnel.
Right. Now the quality of the driving and the navigation through France.
Well, being a backseat passenger, I'm not going to criticise anybody's driving. We got here very safely. But there were a few 1 or 2 moments of sort of detours and other routes which you take.
Okay.
And we was impressed, and some people were criticised for money sort of spent. But
money spent on?
I don't think it's dark holes.
Right.
Yeah, tunnels, I think.
Right.
I thought it was a tremendous experience and something which I've never sort of had before.
Was reportedly involved in a road rage incident yesterday, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Ian Bain, a respected pillar of society and a well-respected member of the paddling group, who was very calm and collected all through the trip. At one stage on the way home, the explosion of outrage at a certain driver going past, which was quite honestly not needed, can only be put down to the stress of the trip. I just hope he just recovers from this incident and does not repeat it again.
Allegations going around of an incident of road rage happening in the white van. What's your take on these allegations?
Well, minor. I think Bobby has got the wrong end of the stick about me. I think he thinks I'm a nice quiet boy and stuff like that, but I think he's seen the other side of me, and I call somebody a twat in the car in front, and that was probably as worse as it got.
That was as bad as it was. Fair enough. Regarding that, we had got some nominated drivers to the trip. Now one driver hasn't driven at all so far, but there was some indication that might change today.
There's a little rumour he'd be driving from Sam service station back to Sketty. I think he's organised for his wife to be on the driveway when we get home, and then she'll think that he's driven all the way from Briançon back to Sketty.
Surely not.
Who knows?
We'll say very sporting a very nice shirt this morning, Bob. I do appreciate it, but certain members of the group have been very nasty and saying very bad things about it. Do you have any response to this?
This shirt was bought and presented to me by my dear wife in regard to my interest in Land Rovers. The abuse that I've taken from my fellow paddlers is not appreciated and will be reported back to my dear wife, who I'm sure will take them to task.
During the trip as well, we had some issues, didn't we, with at times we would go places and we'd be all ready to go, and then boys would just wander off inexplicably. Have you sort of...
Well, you know, I put it down to poor upbringing.
It actually started the day before. We'd been paddling and we got to the get out, everyone emptied their boats, and I foolishly suggested that the boys had brought the wrong van. And I uttered the words, "You've brought the wrong van." All the boys looked at me and smirked, apart from Jeff, who gave me a sideways glance and said, "Fucking wanker." That's it, I was in the barrel all day from then. So, the next day, I thought I'd make amends and offer to drive. Jeff looked up to me and I thought I was going to hear his immortal words again, but he didn't. He just cracked a sly smile and handed me the keys. He said, "Go on then, you drive today." Well, fuck me. We went up every side road and shit lane in the country. Every French car that come the other way. I didn't realise before I got here that they don't put reverse gears in French cars because none of the fuckers will go backwards. We got to the top, we had a look down, and I thought, this is going to be fun. So we'd all jump back in the van, drove down, got home. My shoulders were like bricks. My eyes were like fucking sandpaper because I hadn't fucking blinked for about 3 hours. I'd just been staring at the road. And when we got back to the apartment, Simon said, "Would you like a cup of tea?" No, I don't want a fucking cup of tea. I want a pint of beer. 10 minutes later, we were in the pub.
But I would say your Ward's driving was, in particular, was exceptionally good coming over that bloody mountain.
Right,
tremendous. You know, I'm not the best of backseat passengers.
Yeah.
But fair play to her, we got down there very safely. And I would say we've got you with no incident, so everything's in order and all the boys are safe.
Yeah, and just want to pick up on that point regarding Ward's driving. Now, at the end of that day, Simon Pinner did offer Ward a cup of tea.
I'm struggling on
so, and I mean, Ward, we know Ward likes a beer. He likes a beer at the end of the day.
I'm quite surprised that Simon's offered Ward a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So I think I've been thrown back in his face.
Some other ongoings during the trip. I mean, notably yesterday we're coming home and we pulled up at some roadworks. There was traffic lights in operation and we stopped and something happened, didn't it?
Yeah. Kerry seems to have an habit of sitting on things and then thinking he's lost them. Then running around like a fucking chicken with his head cut off, looking for him, only to jump back in the van and go, "There it is."
Situation where Kerry had an incident with his drain plug on one of the kayaking runs. Can you just give us a very sort of brief comment on that?
It's what we expect from him. He's a wanker.
Speaking of that, we also had an incident where certain Gareth and Kerry were struggling to get the stove on, and to the point where they actually had to get Jeff up out of his seat to help. Now,
technology is beyond them.
Yeah.
If they had a couple of sticks and a bit of wood, they'd probably be better off.
Now, we had an incident inside the apartments at one stage where Gareth and Kerry were trying to get the stove on, and you had to assist them. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, you know, it does help sometimes if you press the on button.
The music choices in the van for the journey.
Again, technology beat them again, didn't it?
It was a struggle. Jeff did have some mixed responses to some of the choices, didn't he?
Yes, he doesn't like any music. Although his foot was seen tap in at one time.
That was the story.
That was all.
Yeah.
Just the 1 foot tapping. As much emotion he's ever showed in his life.
I know that a man who likes the gym and looking after himself. We have any comments on the health and lifestyle choices made by some of the lads on the trip?
I'm very, very impressed with the choice of lifestyle and the attitude to their fitness throughout this last week. And I've been very impressed. Training, lunch times, which take us on to an evening session, and one or two boys that sort of dropped off early in the evening, and I was surprised that one of them, a couple of them went way into the late hours.
Really?
Yeah, tremendous.
Goodness me.
I was one of the sort of weaklinks. I'd be in bed very often, but these guys would carry on very impressed.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen anybody in the gym, mind.
No.
No, oh, no. We're all in the pub, nobody in the gym, mate.
Excellent. Oh, thank you for that. There was a lot of after-hours disruption going on in the general bedroom area, particularly after the lads had been out and about of an evening. Would you like to comment on any of that sort of thing?
Well, there's only one person I can say, I can comment on. Pinner, my roommate, who was thought it very kind to himself and to me to report back on all the events of the evening and then get into bed, fall asleep and start snoring straight away, leaving me awake for the next 2 hours.
And at the end of the trip, we had a situation where we had to get the apartment cleaned up. What was your experience around some of that?
Oh man, it was a tough gig. I walked into the kitchen and it went deathly silent. It's a little bit like walking into the kitchen at home with my shoes on when my missus has washed the floor.
Right.
I had the evil eye of Howell there. I just walked in there and he just looked at me, gave me the get off my clean fucking floors.
You put a lot of effort into preparing the apartment for departure now, which involved cleaning the floors and mopping the floors. Now I believe after that you found a brown streak.
Well, I wouldn't call it a brown streak. It looked like a slalom site in full flood. I wouldn't have liked to have kayaked in there.
And we're none the wiser as to who carried out this indiscretion?
I think somebody opened the dam. So you better ask them.
We've obviously had, how can I say, doubtful child upbringing. But
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Loose morals, do you think?
oh yeah, definitely.
Was in fact a brown streak found on the floor at some stage. Can you categorically say that was nothing to do with you?
Definitely not. No brown streaks. Even no brown streaks on the kitchen floors or in my pants from canoeing.
Very hard managing a crew of such broad background.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Cultural differences.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And the throughout the week we've tried to educate them in French etiquette and
Yes, Kerry fair dues, he put a lot of effort and research into finding out what medium is in French for his steak. We put him 5-10 minutes into it, and when it came to the point of actually saying the word medium in French, he said medium. In which, whereas he broke down into a fit of laughter, leaving the waiter stranded.
All the stuff then, and this is the bit that really tickled me. We'd get to the checkout, he'd put it all through the checkout, they'd bag it. The checkout girl would turn around to the boys and tell her how much she needed. She might as well have been explaining how to split the atom, because he just fucking looked at her all blank. Right? So then Howell would turn the screen round, read the amount, and sort of think, oh, I gotta pay for this, haven't I? And then start looking, but it's all the people in the aisle again, and all they're going, oh, and he'd pay for it, and then we'd all troops out after him. It was fucking hilarious. It was the best bit of the trip for me.
Fantastic. So what's just happened? Yeah.
Bob. It's Bob's fault. He went into the men's, seen me turning the other way and didn't say anything.
What's your perspective on this, Bob?
How can that possibly be my fault? A man of his age, his experience. There's a door with a sign of a lady on it, and he walked straight in there. What can I say?
Not much, mate.
Thank you.
Not much.
In my defence, it's been a long week.
Memorable or funny moments from the trip that you'd like
memorable
to...
and what I thoroughly enjoyed, really, yes, the rivers and things like that, but it was just getting to know boys not met before, and hopefully they could be long-term friends.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Nice one, Gary.
Okay,
Much
thank you very
appreciated.
much, mate.